And we are live. And I don't know if you guys can even see or hear me because my Wi-Fi is being weird today, but we are live. I'm actually going to check the playback real quick just to make sure that things look fine. I'm getting weird messages from the software that I use, and that's why the stream started late, so apologies. Let me see what it looks like. I'm getting weird messages from the software. Maybe it's just glitching, honestly. But we're just going to roll with it. And let me know in the chat if it's like super laggy at any point in time because I can't tell. The software is just being strange, but please let me know. I'll keep my eyes posted on that. But we're here for a live Q&A. It's Tuesday. Normally I would do these on a Wednesday, but it's Tuesday, December 10th. It is 6:07 p.m. Eastern time, and we are live. And yeah, I'm just going to keep my eyes peeled because, again, I have no clue what's going on with my software right now. Apologies. I feel bad. But anyway, fire off your questions. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome. What I do is I'm going to hang out for like an hour or two, however long this thing goes. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can, and we're going to have a good time, all right? Cheers with a water break. I'm going to do those a bunch because I talk a lot, and water is good. Quite refreshing. But no, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Hit the like button if you're in here. It helps out quite a bit. And on top of that, Super Chat is a way to go to guarantee I get to your question, comment, or concern. Super Chat, it's a way to, for me to directly answer your question. It pops right up, and it's a huge way to help support the channel. So consider sending in a Super Chat. Anyway, let's do this thing. Here we go. First question we've got is from, let's see, this is The Pressure's On. This is a good one here. Star Wars Order says, hello there. Are you going to do videos on Skeleton Crew? Great question. So I've actually seen the first two episodes. Shocker, I know, right? Me actually being on time with TV. I watched the first two episodes last week. There was a night where I had to kind of stay up late to go pick up Cam from the airport. And I decided, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do some catching up on TV. I watched Creature Commandos that day, I think. And then I watched Skeleton Crew, the two episodes. I was up till like really late at night watching them. And I was surprised that they were actually enjoyable, because The Acolyte was disastrous in my opinion. And so I've got some beef with Star Wars on Disney Plus lately. I'll be the first to admit it. But I really honestly ended up digging the first two episodes. And so I'm probably going to watch from here on out. I know there's a new episode coming out tonight. I might not watch the episodes right when they drop, but I very much am considering doing like a final video, my thoughts video, in a couple weeks when the season's fully out. I'm probably going to do the same thing for Creature Commandos. The weird thing about week-to-week TV releases is oftentimes it's hard to do an episode review just because people, you want to see the big picture probably. If you're, I'm either going to review up front a couple of episodes or do a review at the end or both. But I've rarely actually done like, hey, this is my episode 3 review specifically for Skeleton Crew, just because a lot of times with Disney Plus shows or streaming shows, they're like 40 minutes tops, maybe an hour. And so to review that one piece of the puzzle, right, if it's 8 episodes, 10 episodes, 6 episodes total, it just feels strange to kind of pull that one episode out and review it because you don't see the big picture. And I realized that a while ago. There was a point in time where I was doing spoiler reviews for every single episode of like a new MCU Disney Plus show. And honestly, it was sorry, I have to take care of something in the chat. Someone was posing as someone last stream and I saw them come back and I was like, I'm not having that today. Anyway, yes, I am going to do a video on Skeleton Crew. It's just going to be later on. It's going to be probably, when does that show end? I'm not even on the Wi-Fi on my phone, so I couldn't tell you because I'm like paranoid about the stream crashing because I've been getting Wi-Fi messages the whole time from the software. So please do let me know if it's working still. But anyway, yes, I'm going to do a video on Skeleton Crew. It's just going to be probably in January. And the same can be said for Creature Commandos, 2 shows that recently fired up, started with new episodes. And I just got to catch up on them. I am caught up on them. I'm just going to watch them week to week. And we'll talk shop when the time comes. Let's see. Connor Productions in the house. Professional Movie Bennett says, have you seen Y2K? I have not. I want to see Y2K, just have not gotten around to it. I watched Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim yesterday. I've got a review. You guys should go check that out. It's the new anime Lord of the Rings film. I'm seeing Craven tomorrow. I'm so stoked. And that's the end of the Sony Spider-Man live action spinoff, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'll probably do a ranking. I'm going to do a ranking of all those because frankly, why not? I mean, it's the end of an era. I'd argue, no, I can't even jokingly say that. The DCEU, I was going to be like, the Sony spin-off universe of Spider-Man villains is better than the DCEU. I can't even jokingly say that. It's probably the worst cinematic universe, if you can even call it that, ever, right? Ever. It's terrible. But no, I haven't seen Y2K. I would like to. It looks like a movie I would frankly enjoy. I just haven't got around to it yet. JJ's in the house. What's up? Emily's in Spanish class. Well, hopefully you're having fun in that, and as much fun as you can. What's up, Benjamin? How you doing? Shout out Starcourt, my mod. We'll be modding the chat today. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you guys here again. Apologies in advance if we're having any technical issues with the Wi-Fi, because prior to firing up this stream, we did. Yeah, Tuesday stream instead of Wednesday because I'm seeing Craven tomorrow, so I couldn't do a stream. Usually I like to do them on Wednesday, but I have a movie tomorrow night, so those direct conflict, they would take place at the same exact time. Am I excited for Sonic 3? Honestly, like truly, not terribly, but I'm still going to watch it. I'm seeing that one next week. I've never been a huge Sonic guy. I didn't grow up really watching, playing, whatever. Maybe playing, I guess, would be the appropriate term because there were Sonic games. I didn't play any of them, the original games. I only was familiar with Sonic from his appearance in the Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And then later on, also in my life, I played this Subway game, the surfer racer game with Sonic, but I never really got into the Sonic thing as a kid. So I have no nostalgic attachment to Sonic. I have enjoyed the movies, but they're serviceable entertainment in the moment, and I kind of just forget about them after. That's the kind of expectation I have here, so I can't say I'm real excited. Gonna go see it, give you guys my review, all that jazz, but I just don't think I'm gonna love it by any means. Craven will end. Yeah, Craven will be ending the Sony Spider-Man villain spin-off films. And you know what I say to that? To quote Spider-Man 3, good riddance. That's all I got to say about that. Dustin, how you doing? A lot of questions about the date. I have Craven tomorrow. I have Craven the Hunter tomorrow at 7 o'clock, and so I will not be able to stream tomorrow. Favorite rom-com? I like that question. I'm going to have to say favorite rom-com is, I have a couple that I kind of rotate around. Crazy Stupid Love, usually a go-to when I'm asked this question. And then sometimes I'll say Silver Linings Playbook, which is way more of like a dramedy, honestly. But like I would say of the conventional sort of rom-coms, I probably would say Crazy Stupid Love. Delightful film. Hilarious. And I'm not kidding. I'm not lying. I've said this on stream before. I've said this since 2020. One of the best movie twists I've ever seen. Plot twists, that is. Wow. It got me good. It got me to sit up. It was just so wonderfully executed. We got a super chat from Josh. Thank you, Josh. Welcome in. Have you seen a 28 Years Later trailer? I have, but I got to give you context. Number one, I haven't seen the two films previous, so I've never seen a 28 days or weeks film. This is the third of the trilogy. You haven't seen any of them, but I did see the trailer this morning. I woke up, I was scrolling on Twitter, as I tend to do, which is probably not good for my brain. But I was scrolling, and I saw it, and I watched it. And I didn't know it was shot with an iPhone 15, but I've seen that since, which I think is really cool. But I have seen the trailer. It was very unsettling, very disturbing, and I thought the use of that voiceover was real, like, anxiety-inducing in a way. Like, I wanted to mute it when I was watching the trailer. So that's how you make an effective trailer. But I've seen a lot of praise for the trailer, deservedly so. I think it was well done, and I'm not even a fan of that series, that franchise, I guess we can call it now, with a third film coming out. But I am intrigued enough to maybe go out and venture out and watch the others. There's that. So well put together trailer for sure. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying contender for trailer of the year. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I would say it was a very solid trailer. How do I like Skeleton Crew so far? I'm enjoying it. Truly, I'm enjoying it. And I every time a new show or movie comes out, there are comparisons made to existing pieces of media. And for example, when I'm trying to think of an example, and then I'll tell you guys what the obvious comparison here is that everyone's making. I'm trying to think of a, someone. Here's a good one. So Freaky Friday comes out, and every single person's like, "Oh, it's Back to the Future meets Scream." Well, with this, it's like, "Oh, it's the Goonies in Star Wars," and I've seen that thrown around a million times. And maybe in a sense, I mean, there are kids in the Star Wars universe, and they discover a shit, but I don't know. Outside of that, I don't really see that direct comparison. And I don't know. That's just how I am. I always think that certain comparisons just get regurgitated online when a project comes out. But I've seen this. It's Stranger Things in space. Not remotely. Not remotely Is the only reason you're saying that because there are kids? That's like what I've seen. But anyway, beside that, it's an adventurous time. It feels like something, you know, almost that you would watch like a Saturday morning cartoon. And my buddy, who's in the chat, Starcourt, pointed out it's like a Cartoon Network show. I can't stop thinking about that ever since they said it's a very good point. And it's true. Like, it reminded me of, you know, or no, excuse me, he said that about Creature Commandos, but regardless, I think it's applicable to Skeleton Crew is what I'm getting at here. It both Creature Commandos, obviously more mature, but R-rated Creature Commandos is, but Skeleton Crew, on the other hand, still has that Saturday morning cartoon feel in live action. And so I enjoy both shows that I'm watching at the same time right now on a week-to-week basis. But I'm enjoying it a lot more than The Acolyte. I'm enjoying it a lot more than The Book of Boba Fett. And damn, I'm enjoying it more than Obi-Wan. Those are not high bars, though. Those are not high bars. I think as of right now, through 2 eps, I prefer Andor. I prefer Mando 1 and 2. And I mean, really, I'm enjoying the show a lot more than I thought. You can go watch my trailer reaction. I was like down tremendously. Was that back in like July or August? I was like, whoa. I'm from Georgia. I live in Georgia. How about them dogs, baby? I'm sure we'll get a football question at some point. Hey, Chris, what's your favorite movie score of all time? Oppenheimer. I listened to that. It was legitimately was my number one artist on Spotify. Wrapped was Ludwig Göransson, the composer, and 3 of my top 5 songs were from the Oppenheimer score. I would say Oppenheimer comfortably. Comfortably. The Sonyverse is dead. Let it die. Do I like Big Time Rush? Let me take a sip of water and tell you my answer, then move on. Here's my answer to that. Oh. That's all you need to know. I've never seen Heartstopper, but I've heard of it. What everyone keeps asking, what happened to the podcast? It's just on hiatus, which it tends to be on from time to time, unfortunately. But that's just the way of the world. It'll be back in time. I don't know when, but it will be back. What's your favorite Deadpool movie? I mean, it's a race between the first 2, or excuse me, 1 and 3. I'm like speaking incoherently today. My apologies. I'm taking a sip of water. I'm thinking one thing, my mouth's spitting out something else. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so my favorite is Deadpool and Wolverine, but it's a closer race than you might think between the first and third of the Deadpool films. Let me scroll way ahead in the chat. Are we still good? Like, can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Am I glitchy? Let me know, because my Wi-Fi meter thing keeps popping up. It has been the entire time. So just let me know. I'll see if we can get a little update here, and then we will resume in the chat. Taking a sip of water real quick. All good? Thank you guys for letting me know. Shout out Emily. All right. And again, Super Chat's the way to go to guarantee I get your question, comment, concern. I actually am using a new feature I've never used, something called a Super Chat goal. I thought it was cool, so I set one. I don't know if you guys can even see that or not. What's your favorite season of Stranger Things? I'm going season 3. 1985, the gang is getting tall. Everyone is growing up and shopping at the mall. You guys know the rest. All right. We got Ollie in the house. Shout out Ollie. I have not had the chance to play Marvel Rivals yet. And Ollie, I totally blanked, man. I think I have a message I have not read from you. That is my bad, dude. I got to get on that. But I am down to make something happen. I know we had talked about that. Anyway, I'll get you off stream. I haven't played Marvel Rivals yet. My friend... not my friend, my brother actually was talking about this. And then I've seen people in the space that I'm mutuals with talk about this game. I really don't know much about it. I'm not much of a gamer. I've heard it compared to Overwatch. And frankly, I've never even played that. I'm kind of an old head when it comes to gaming. I'm so out of the loop. I've heard nothing but great things about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which frankly, I'm very close to pulling the trigger on getting and maybe even streaming. You guys know I love Indiana Jones, and I would just I don't know where I would stream that. I streamed on Twitch for the long-time subscribers or followers of the channel. They were around for them Twitch streams, let me tell you. They were a time. We did an 8-9 hour stream playing Fallen Order. We did another 9-hour stream playing the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. What a time. And those were in 2021, I think. Damn, that was fun. But no, if I come back and would you guys want to see me stream The Great Circle? I might just do it on YouTube. I also might just do it on Twitch and just be like, hey, let's full send on Twitch for however long this game is, 100% it, and move on. That might be what I do. Resurrect Twitch streams. That'll get someone excited. We got a super chat. 2 super chats. There you go. Appreciate it, guys. I like the username here. I like the profile pic. Thank you for the super chat. The question is, do you think Stranger Things could work in a different decade, or is the 80s key? I think the 80s is key because season 1 specifically, if you look at it when it came out, which I believe the original intention was for it to be sort of a one-off. I mean, the Duffers had definitely plotted out potential seasons past season 1 if the show were to be a success. It in fact was. But if you look at season 1 sort of in a bubble, I believe that yes, it's key. It's very crucial. The 80s crucial to the show's success because it plays on that nostalgia. And I mean, really and truly, that's the main reason. It's also because it's such a direct homage to E.T., in my opinion, like to a T. And it's so evident, you know, it's so E.T., 11 being E.T. in this case. And then you got the group of kids. I mean, there's like early on in E.T., you know, Elliot is hiding E.T. at the house, and you know E.T.'s roaming around just like 11 is. It's very, very similar. You've got this government organization coming after, you know, Dr. Brenner Papa coming after 11, just like the government's coming after E.T. in the movie. I mean, it's. I'm not saying it's a ripoff. It's paying homage to it, and it knows what it's doing. But what I think makes Stranger Things work really well is yes, takes elements from E.T., takes elements from Jaws, takes elements from films I haven't even seen, like, say, Poltergeist, which I know. Shoot me. I've exposed myself. But no, it's taking elements from a lot of these 80s films, and it has that charm to it because of that. I do think the Duffers could have created a show in any decade and made it work by playing off of, you know, iconic things from said decade. Like, if they do a spinoff in the 90s, I think I'm game for it. I think it could work. But yeah, I think the 80s is key to Stranger Things, truly. I think that there's this collective nostalgia for the 80s, even for people who didn't grow up in the 80s or were never around in the 80s, like myself. It's like it's sort of a romanticized decade in many ways, not just, and mainly in the sense of pop culture, movies, music, clothing, fashion, all that. Like, it's the 80s. I mean, what a time to be alive. We've kind of created this vision of what the 80s would be like for those who didn't live through the 80s. And so I think that's another reason that it's huge. But yeah, I think when it boils down to it, Stranger Things, the 80s, huge element of the show, obviously. But, you know, I still think if it were the same exact show and it just, you know, they just, you know, rewrapped it essentially in a different font in the 90s and the 70s and the 60s, I think it still would have worked. It was written the same way. They just sort of changed what pop culture references were being made. I think it still would have worked, in my opinion. We got another super chat here from Gavin. Shout out, Gavin. What is the best Trent Reznor score besides The Social Network? Phenomenal question. Big score guy over here. I know you are, Gavin. We talk about scores sometimes in the chat, but I also love a good score. I would say this is a real sleeper. This is for the what's the word I'm looking for? This is for the real sickos out there. Not really. I would argue, and this score, I mean, it's only a couple tracks long, and it's kind of a deep cut. Not really. Mid-90s, the A24 film, directed by Jonah Hill. The mid-90s score is Trent Reznor. I'm gonna go pull it up right now. There's one track on there that I really love, and it's damn near, like, I have to pull it up. Hold on. It's such a small mid-90s. Yeah, so it's technically an EP, the original music from the motion picture. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks on it. It's 12 minutes long. The start of things, I just love it. It plays early on in the film, and that's always stood out to me. That's my answer, I think, which is crazy probably to a lot of you. But mid-90s, it's always, actually, let me shut my mouth right now. Ignore everything I just said. I'm giving all my love to mid-90s, but there's an obvious answer here. Totally just blanked. My bad. Giving my love, take everything. Go watch mid-90s if you haven't seen it. But the clear answer here is Challengers. I don't know why I didn't connect the dots sooner on that. My brain in slow motion today. It's Challengers. It's Challengers by a pretty big margin. I'd say Challengers, you could argue, like, The Social Network is here. Challengers is here. Mid-90s, I just wanted to show some love to it. All right. I went outside the box with it. Give me a break. All right. Next super chat is from Movie Fan 2002. Which songs from Act 2 of Wicked are you looking forward to hearing from the movie cast in Part 2? Well, here's the thing, Movie Fan 2002. I have seen the Wicked film, I have seen the Wicked play once in 2019, which I led my review with of the film. And the real kicker here is that I really don't remember much of the second act at all. So I can't really answer this question sufficiently if you want the truth. Look, I would say lots of folks, you know, I'm looking on the Broadway soundtrack right now. I would probably say, you know, all of them. I'm cheating here, all of them. I'm excited to see part 2 because what I was worried going into part 1 because I was very skeptical, to be honest. I hadn't loved what I had seen in the off-Broadway show because it was 5 years ago. It wasn't fully my jam at the time. But this movie I love. I want to see it a third time soon. Like, I love the film, and I feel like I was more immersed in the story than ever before and understanding things I hadn't even picked up on in the first round. And I could visualize everything 1,000 times better. That's a huge reason why. So it's almost like a first time viewing for me. You know, this story, first time even, you know, processing what's going on. It really is a first time thing for me. And so I'd say all of them. I love the soundtrack of Wicked One. It's maybe on my Spotify Wrapped in 2025. All right, we got to see, but I've listened to it really too much lately. I'd say I'm not sick of it, but I've listened to it pretty much. It's dominated the aux cord in my car. But no, I'm looking forward to this set to hear all the music because I don't know a singular song I can pinpoint. I've only been listening to the movie soundtrack. So when the second part comes out, I will listen to the movie soundtrack probably. But good question. I'm real excited for Wicked too. Josh with another super chat saying, I love sports. I'm from England and my English soccer teams are letting me down. I'm a Tottenham fan. What American sport shall I watch and enjoy? You want the best sport in America is college football. Argue with the wall if you disagree. College football is the best sport in America. And I love it. And the college football playoff starts in 10 days, I believe, the 20th of December. And it's going to be a wild ride. I'm real excited. But college football, the passion, the pageantry, if you will, the tradition, it's unmatched. There's nothing like it. And there's, 12 games in a regular season. It's not like the MLB where there's like 182, I want to say, or the NBA where I think there's 82. You can miss. No, college football, you get 12 games. If you're lucky, you get more, a couple more. Right? You get to your conference championship, you get to the playoff. There's nothing like college football. I've been raised on it my whole life. It's my favorite sport. It's the only sport I follow religiously. It's the only one I, get emotional over. And I think that's good. It's only a certain part of the year. It starts in the fall, ends in January. And so it's short, but it's sweet. And it doesn't consume me during the off season as much, which is good. I can step away. But when it's college football season, it's college football season, and I'm serious about it. So CFB, that's my answer. Simba Fan 2002 with a little super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Crushing it with the support today. Thank you. Thank you. Adam with the super chat. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Good question here. What is the number one thing that needs to happen in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars? We're going to use this question. This will launch us into a greater discussion about Chris Evans. Here's the thing. I'm honestly going off the rails here, so just get ready. Sorry, cough. Yesterday it was announced that Chris Evans is returning to play an undisclosed role in Avengers Doomsday. We don't know who, but we could sit here and speculate for sure. Lots of debate going around online. Could he be playing Captain America, Steve Rogers, the version that we see in Endgame? Could he be playing a variant of Steve Rogers, good or evil? Could he be playing Johnny Storm? And we're going to find out when the movie comes out, and I'm going to avoid leaks because I'm pretty good at avoiding Marvel leaks, surprisingly. Yeah, here's the thing. Chris Evans is coming back. RDJ is coming back. What's to stop them from getting the rest of the original Avengers back at this point? It's kind of a slippery slope because I think they had such a perfect ending, and we all do. I'm just saying something that a lot of us have said ad nauseum since 2019. They don't need to ruin the ending of Endgame, and I don't think they're ever going to do that. I think Deadpool and Wolverine kind of set that precedent. We were all, oh my God, are they going to ruin Logan? They didn't. They didn't ruin Logan. I don't know anyone who said they did. And if you do, I disagree with you strongly because that version of the character is dead, gone, no more. And they made that very clear. There's just a variant. I think variant's sort of a loophole the MCU can use to get around ruining endings. Could they lessen the emotional impact slightly of certain characters' endings? Sure. But I always am going to cherish, the end of Endgame. When Tony dies and Cap's old and he hands the shield off to Sam, that's the end of that movie, the end of those characters forever, no matter what they do. And so to me, the whole Chris Evans coming back thing, you can look at it a couple different ways. I kind of view it as desperate, though, if you want the truth. And I could sit here and eat crow when, they prove me wrong, but it does seem like it was something that was always going to happen. But in terms of the MCU big picture right now, it seems like they're at a point where they need to guarantee a home run. And so I guess Feige or the higher ups feel like the way they do that is rely on RDJ and Chris Evans' star power, the people who sort of created this, or were directly related to the success of the first 3 phases of the MCU. The 2 faces, essentially, right? Cap and Iron Man. Bring them back, but in different roles. And it could be, that works for them. And both these movies make $2 billion a pop. But at the same time, it could be disastrous. Is this a desperate move? I don't know. I don't know where I stand. I think that there's also the whole conversation of Chris Evans and RDJ's careers post-Endgame. Chris Evans hasn't had the best career. RDJ obviously won an Oscar, but it's difficult. It's difficult. I think, personally, if Evans is coming back, which the report said he is, I would rather him just play Johnny Storm again. I mean, they kind of left that. No, I don't know. Johnny Storm, probably not likely. He'd have to be another variant, I just realized, because of where he ends up in Deadpool and Wolverine. Look, he's probably playing some sort of Captain America thing then. And I don't know how I feel about that. I'm honestly kind of out on that, because don't you want to set up Sam Wilson as Captain America? He's about to get his own movie, and then you turn around and you're like, wait, there's another Cap. I don't know. Kind of iffy on the whole thing. But regarding the actual question, what is the number one thing that needs to happen? I think we need to, by the end of those films, I'm going to say it, I think there needs to be an entire reset in the MCU. I think the end of those films almost needs to, like, by the end of Doomsday, in my opinion, we should have an entirely new MCU timeline that we're in. That's kind of where I'm at with it. And that could be where the Fantastic Four and the X-Men operate, because to me, you can't stay in this sacred timeline forever. You can't do it. You can reference it, but I think they're kind of getting warmed up to the idea of having timelines. The main MCU timeline's always going to be there, but let's go play around in another one. We're going this big, this multiversal. It's their way of soft rebooting without committing to a reboot. That way you could open the door for 15 years from now. There's another Iron Man. There's another Tony Stark not played by RDJ. Because that time's coming. You're not going to just go forever without Iron Man. You're not. You're not going to go forever without Captain America. You got one right now, but think long-term forever. How many James Bonds have there been, That's something I've been thinking about. There have been how many Batmans? You're going to have another Iron Man. You're going to. Another Wolverine. It's just, how are they going to go about that? I think these movies can set that up. But no, I think that we need to see, if they're going for it cameo-wise, I'd love to see Toby and Andrew back. But that's not the reason I don't know. I have no clue how to feel about this movie now that I sit here and think about it. Anyway. Wow. Those movies are going to be massive. And I'm not saying like the biggest movies ever in terms of money made, but the fact that we will have new Avengers films in theaters, they're going to be the talk of the town, whether you like it or not. We got Nick M with a little keep watch burn. Batman Begins, Iron Man 2, and Spider-Man 3. Tough one. I'm going to say, shoot. I would probably keep Spider-Man 3, which might be blasphemous to some of you. I just realized, there's a lot of Batman Begins folks out there, and trust me, Batman Begins is a great film. But if I'm keeping one of these movies, it's one I got to be able to watch a bunch, and I go to Spider-Man 3 more than most people. All right? I would then say I would watch Batman Begins, because I need to see how the Dark Knight trilogy begins. I can burn Iron Man 2, because I can live without it. Admittedly, I have some nostalgia, but I can live without it. Who among us really needs Iron Man 2? Anyway, good question. Like the little keep watch burns, they're classics. Hard to beat. Trying to find my spot in the chat here. I tend to lose it. There we go. Please watch the rest of Agatha. It gets better. I got to. I have no desire to. I know I need to. I just don't feel like it. which is a shame. Josh with another super chat saying, what 80s song would you choose for Stranger Things 5 and why? I've been asked this a bunch. I think I answered this recently. I would say screw it and take Head Over Heels. I think that would be a sick song to kind of have show up. Why not? Head Over Heels would be cool, and it's in Donnie Darko. All right. You guys seen Donnie Darko? It's kind of a banger. I just don't talk about it a lot. But no, Head Over Heels, because it's a sick song. That's literally my reasoning. It would be, I could picture it right now, and they could almost do something similar to Donnie Darko, where like, say we're going through Hawkins High School and we see the kids like walking around, like we go around the full campus and it's like post time jump. I think that would be a hype song. I don't know if that would line up date wise. I don't care. I just want to hear it. Anyway, oh my gosh, this is maybe an all-time question. You know how inside inside baseball knowledge you have to understand this as well. Who do you think would be the best choice to direct Satan's Alley? A lot of you guys are like, what is he referring to? Go watch Tropic Thunder and you'll understand. At the beginning of the film, the film opens wonderfully, masterfully, dare I say, with fake trailers starring the actors in the movie. So like Jack Black is playing like 5 different characters in one movie. You've got like this ad where the Brandon T. Jackson, he's like doing this ad for the specific drink. You just got to watch it. I'm not going to say what it's called. And there's one called Satan's Alley with RDJ, who plays Kirk Lazarus, the actor in the movie, and then Tobey Maguire. It's like a, dear God, it's like a priest movie, but it's a little bit more than that. Potential romance involved, right? You got to go watch Tropic Thunder and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's hilarious. Anyway, I have to look that up. I have to look this up real quick. Hold on. I want to see an image of them when I think about who to direct. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at the image right now. Honestly, I would say if they ever made this a real movie, which would be the greatest thing to ever happen to film, I would say give me, oh man, who can do, I'm tempted to say give me, I mean, there's a very basic pick here. I'm not going to try and go that route. I'm going to say it at the end. I want to think of someone, a newer up and coming director to do it before I give the very basic pick. Let me take a water break while I think. This is a good one. Satan's Alley. Let me go to my letterbox. That's always a way to help me when I'm in these situations, because I want to give you a good answer here. It's a good question. Let's see if my letterbox would load. I would be able to help. Let's see. You know what? My Blu-ray shelf used to be in the room with me when I filmed, and it was a lot easier back then. Letterboxed. We're going to log in on my computer, and then I'm just going to give you a random answer. Okay. You know what? We're gonna wing it. The obvious answer here, the vanilla answer here is Scorsese, Martin Scorsese. He's done Silence. He's dealt with films covering topics like this before. I feel this is so unserious to answer. I just realized. Scorsese would be the obvious pick, but if I were to go, if they wanted to full send on sort of the dark comedy of it all, and go down a wild path, I would almost take. Damn, this is man, you've stumped me here, man. You've stumped me. If my letterbox would load, I'd have an answer for you a lot quicker. Hold on. We might have hope here. Let's see. Come on, load, damn it. Load letterboxd, please. I'm begging you. Maybe letterboxd is down. They failed me when I needed them most. I'll give you the basic answer, Scorsese, but I'm going to think on that. Sometimes when I read other questions, I kind of get inspiration. And I guarantee you I'll think of one by the time we get to the end of this chat. I already might have one in mind. Starcourt says, Harloff on his show today said Mando and Grogu, from what he's heard, is a rescue mission turned into a movie. It sounds like a season 4 that is being turned into a movie like Moana 2. Thoughts? That's horrible. And I think he might be right, honestly. Because it seems like what Disney was doing with Moana 2 at the time was that, Bob Iger came back and he was like, we're going to change the direction of certain things and make movies. And so if that's the case, I think Mando and Grogu could very well be a disaster. I don't want to think too much into it, but I always thought that they should stick to TV. Mando was started as a TV show. Why are you going and taking it off a streaming service that people? I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Phew. Is it a twofer or one? Sorry. Whew. Anyway, Mando is a TV show. So why are you making 3 seasons of TV? Let's make a movie. Even something like Stranger Things. You guys know I love Stranger Things. I would be questioning if they made a movie. Like if instead of having a 5th season, they were like, no, we're going to make a movie. What are you doing? You're abandoning the platform and frankly, the overall form of media that you've been making. That makes no sense to me. It reminds me of like when we would have a television show on Nickelodeon and then we would get like a special movie. It worked sometimes, but even then it was always weird. I like, Drake and Josh had a couple movies. That's a network TV show though. What are we doing with a streaming show? Going the movie route. I wouldn't be shocked here at all. I wouldn't be shocked if I hated Mando and Grogu. I wouldn't be shocked if it surprised me. But Moana 2, having seen the success of that, unfortunately, I do think that this has opened the door for Disney to just kind of go the cheap route with sequels because they realize that they can just make bank off them. And Moana 2 was really just not it for me. Wasn't a fan. Network 98 with the super chat. If I make a Heroes film or show and you review it, I don't understand what this is saying, but are you saying if you make a film or show, would I review it? You'd have to send it my way. Hashtag the craving. I did that for you, Network 98. Stranger fan with the super chat. Any ideas when the first teaser for Stranger Things 5 will come out? So there are 2 big dates. I've talked about this in some recent streams. There are 2 big dates in my mind, and I honestly don't think we're going to get it on either. But if I had to guess, we'll get it on a random Tuesday. That's kind of the joke we always make about big trailers, right? Look, I would say Christmas is in 15 days, and Christmas is a good chance because Netflix is hosting or airing 2 NFL games on Christmas. So they'll have all eyes on them on Christmas Day. That'll be a big way to sort of generate hype for Stranger Things. It's also like, hey, Merry Christmas. We wrapped filming hopefully by then or very, very close. Here's what we're going to give you guys, a little teaser. 1 minute, 30 seconds, something. Then I would say the Super Bowl, because again, all eyes are on you. They could buy a little minute-long spot there, hit us with a 10, 15-second thing even on the Super Bowl, and then say full trailer online now. Those would be the next 2 opportunities for them to have all eyes on them. And with something of this scale, the final season of the biggest show in streaming history, I'm going to say it. I don't care. I would say that they want to go big with the marketing, and what better way to do it than those 2, events. The other route would be, like I said, a random day. They'll say, hey, teaser, here you go. That's probably what they're going to do. Honestly, let's be real. But no, if we'll get it, we will get something before, I don't know why this date just popped in my head. We will get something before April Fool's Day, which is April 1st. I kind of view that as the beginning of the next chapter of the year. And I think we'll get it in the first quarter of 2025. There you go. That's my honest answer. Hope we get it tomorrow. How sick would that be? How sick would that be? Ooh, Keep Watch Burn Director Edition. PTA, Denis Villeneuve and David Fincher. I'm going to throw PTA's name in the ring for director of Satan's Alley, referring to a previous super chat. I think PTA could really actually pull that off, and he's actually my pick. Thank you for reminding me of PTA. I went on a PTA kick back in 2020. Having watched Boogie Nights, I think I've seen what I need to see. Give me PTA for Satan's Alley. I've also seen Licorice Pizza, and that movie has some humor in it as well. And honestly, I think he could do it. Oh, Damien Chazelle could do it. See, a lot of people could do it. Damien Chazelle might actually, and he just worked with Toby. It'd be perfect. Anyway, I'm keeping, and I'm watching, and I'm burning as my nose itches. Well, I got to keep Fincher because he made one of my favorite movies ever, The Social Network. And Fincher also made like 7, Fight Club, Gone Girl. Fincher, he technically made Alien 3, so I got some love there. Hell yeah. Yikes. I'd keep Fincher. I think he has the most rewatchable films of the 3. I would then watch PTA because I would be getting access to Boogie Nights. I would be getting access to Magnolia. I would be getting access to Punch Drunk Love. Hold on. They're about on par, honestly. I mean, I look at Denis, and I'm not a big Dune guy, which I know upsets a lot of people. I'm not crapping on Dune, but I'm just not a big Dune guy. So those aren't like make or breaks for me. So I'm looking at the other movies he's made. Prisoners is amazing. Sicario, never finished. That one probably just got some gasps from the crowd. Arrival, saw once in theaters, liked but didn't adore. Liked it a lot though. I think at the time I would rate movies on 1 to 10. I gave it an 8.5, so it was actually pretty high on the movie. I just haven't seen it since then. But in terms of rewatchability, I think I go PTA by a hair, and then I guess I burned Denis. Sorry, Denis. Appreciate Zach. We got 11 super chats. Is the goal filling up? I want to see what that looks like. Hold on. I think I had set a goal, and I want to see if. Hold on. It is. It says we have 10 out of 15 super chats. Look at that. How about it? My least favorite movie of all time, I've commonly said, is the 2016 film Suicide Squad, directed by David Ayer. I abhor that movie. But I could also throw The Rise of Skywalker in that conversation. One of those two is probably my least favorite of all time. My least favorite TV show of all time, if I hate a TV show, I just stop watching it. So that's a little bit more of a difficult one to answer, because if I really don't like a TV show, why am I going to endure it? You know what? A recent one that sucked, and I truly sucked, was The Acolyte. That show, you guys just, if you're not a patron, you just need to go sign up for my Patreon and witness. You just got to, I don't have any other way to really describe it other than you have to watch my reaction to every episode, and it's on my Patreon. And I don't even know what to say. I have no words for that. But I'd say it's ironic that some of my favorite movies and shows of all time are from Star Wars, and then I just listed some of my least favorite movies and shows of all time, and some of them are from Star Wars. That's how, all over the place Star Wars has become. What have I done? Makes me sick, honestly. Let's see. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love. Thank you. Thank you. Do I think Cap 4 will be good or not? I think its ceiling is a very solid movie. So I don't think it's going to be like, it's kind of unfortunate to say this, but I do think it'll probably be the weakest Captain America movie. And I think its floor is being like probably on the level of something like, say, Iron Man 2. So I still think that movie has its moments to shine, but I don't think it's going to be as abysmal as Thor: Love and Thunder, or let's think of another one that people hate and I don't like. I don't think it'll be on a level of something like, as a collective, most people abhor Quantumania. I don't think it'll be on that level. I think that it'll still be, it could even be more so like a Black Widow type movie, which is not a bad thing at the end of the day. Black Widow was wholly watchable and entertaining, but it's not the most memorable, and it's flawed with its villain for sure. I think it's like anywhere from a Black Widow to at best, first Avenger, but it's not going to reach the heights of, I don't expect it to reach the heights of something like even The Winter Soldier or Civil War or even the first Iron Man. I don't think it's going to be in that conversation. I talked about this earlier, Jeremiah, but I'm not a fan. I don't think. I think I've settled where I think it comes off as a bit desperate, and it's a bit too soon to try and return with Chris Evans in the MCU. Should have waited a little longer, but also it was inevitable, right? It kind of was inevitable. So you just got to embrace it a bit. Dustin, overrated because he not interesting. Dustin is not an overrated character. Get out of here with that. What are we talking about? I love Dustin. I think he's very properly rated as maybe, I think, the best kid of the group. Hey, Chris, which song? Oh, I already answered this one. I have not seen Emilia Perez, and frankly, I have zero desire to watch Emilia Perez. Starcourt seeing Y2K tomorrow. Hell yeah, dude. I'm seeing Craven. I think you win that battle, my friend. You got the better of the two, it sounds like. Ava says, do you think John B and Sarah are going to have twins? That would be wild. And when I read twins, my mind immediately went to Twisters, the trailer. Twins! We got twins! I would say no, but that would be something, wouldn't it? Wow, that would be something else. They will have, obviously, a kid, though. Twins. That would be wild. Two little twins running around the Kildare County. Brandon says, yo, big fan. What are some conventions you will attend in the future? I may be going to MegaCon. Maybe, maybe not. That's in February. I had said I was going, and then I'm on the fence about it. I really don't know if I'm going or not. I can't guarantee that. But I can't even guarantee any next year. I would love to go to Atlanta Comic-Con. It's in July, and I live in Atlanta. I'm not far from Atlanta, so it's like, might as well go. But it kind of boils down to guest list and other things scheduled, because next year is going to be crazy, like with all the movies and shows coming out. So it kind of just boils down to all that stuff. Jake says, is the Lord of the Rings anime movie good? You mean the War of the Rohirrim? Yeah, it's something. I have a review I'll let you guys go check out, but it's fine at best. I'll say that. Okay, what are your thoughts on the Stranger Things leaks recently? Yeah, I'm not even covering some of the stuff that's coming out because it feels immoral to do so, frankly. I touched briefly on the state of leaks in the Hawkins Report, which is a live stream series I've started over on my Patreon, which I do streams just like this on Patreon on a weekly basis. You guys should go join if you're not. It's a fun time. But yeah, it's disheartening, some of the things I've seen, because we're so close to the finish line, and they are, I believe, filming stuff from the epilogue, which is like the very end of the final episode. So we don't need to see that. Paparazzi photos out of context from when they're filming episode 3 or 6, like we don't know what even it is, frankly. So I'm fine with it. But when it's known they're probably filming epilogue stuff, I think stay away from it, because it could confirm who lives or dies through the entirety of the show. And so it's a bit disheartening to see it out publicly and to see accounts just posted without any heads up. Like, to me, if I'm going to cover something on Stranger Things that I'm even remotely hesitant about, I usually give about a 30-second heads up. If it's a short, I'll say, hey, from here on out, this is a paparazzi, so it's unofficial. I'm always emphasizing how it's unofficial. It's not from the Duffer. It's not from Sean Levy. It's not from Stranger Things. And I'll make that judgment call if I cover it or not. But some of the things I've seen, just like out on my damn Twitter or on my Instagram Explore page or whatever it's called, it's just there. I'm like, wow, that's a little annoying that it's out there just like with no, heads up even. So I feel bad about it, honestly. And I wish that it weren't out there, but it's the world we live in. I'm just choosing not. I could make like 3 videos about it, and I was like, but no, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not doing it. So that's why there hasn't been as much Stranger Things content lately. I've chosen to not cover that because it feels wrong, in my opinion, to do that. But I'm aware of it. I'm aware of what's going on, but I am going to do a Stranger Things video soon. I have one in the works, we'll say. I have a fun one in the works, and I'm going to tell you guys, because you're in the live stream. If you're in the live stream, you get insider info. I'm going to do a Stranger Things collection video. I did one back in 2022 around the time of season 4's release, but I want to do a new one. I've got a lot of new Funko Pops, a lot of autographs, and people have asked when I film, a shorter, a unboxing video with, I'm looking at the shelf right now with like a Stranger Things shelf in the back. People are like, I want to see that. And so I think I will at some point, and maybe even this week, or next week, by the end of the year, ideally, do a Stranger Things collection video showing my autographs, the merch I have, the posters, the artwork, all that jazz. And I think that'd be a fun one to do outside the box. And then I have some, update videos I have planned, but I have truly avoided making content about, I'm not going to say what, but set photos from the downtown set, downtown Hawkins, that is. There's some photos of characters circulating, and I was like, I'm not going to cover that. I just chose not to. So I chose not to. Are you going to watch A Complete Unknown? I don't even know. I don't know, to be honest with you. Of the upcoming releases, it's one that's pretty low priority for me. I'm prioritizing a couple others over it. I also am at the point in the year where it's like, I really have to be smart about my time watching movies, because there are a lot of big name titles out there that I haven't watched that came out earlier in the year that I need to see. Sorry, there's about to be a train. It's going to get loud in the background. It happens. But let me take a water break, actually. All right, we're back. I think it's still there, but it's not as loud as it was when I muted. Okay, so I have to prioritize what movies I'm going to watch. We got 30. Do we have 3 weeks left in the year? That's it. I gotta get on it. There's movies like Conclave and Anora I want to watch, The Wild Robot. And so there's only a couple new releases that are to come out that I need to see. Sonic 3, Craven, Mufasa. Am I even going to see? I don't know. But I don't want to be honest, but I may go do it anyway. A Complete Unknown is not high on that list. I would love to watch the film by the Oscars, but I don't know if I'll get around to it by the end of this year. There's also Christmas stuff I want to watch. There's some shows I'm catching up on. So I got to be real diligent about it. Opinion on Lord of the Rings trilogy, arguably the greatest trilogy of all time. Many would say it is. I would say it's top 2, and it might not be 2. Favorite versus best is different. I think best trilogy might have to just take the cake, but favorite for me has always been the Star Wars original trilogy. And I have no shame in that. I love it. Liam, how you doing? What's good? Sorry if there's any background noise, by the way. Based on what you've seen this year, would you say 2024 has been weak overall for film? Overall, weaker than 2020? Yeah, I'd say it's like I've seen a handful of like 1 out of 10 films. And I'm not just saying that to like be funny or be hyperbolic. Like you can go to my Letterboxd half-star movies, and I'll list some of you right now. Hot Frosty, I watched with a commentary track. I only watched it to see if it was actually ass, and it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. A Merry Gentleman is of the same vein, very Hallmark movie coded, unwatchable almost. Then I've watched a film called Afraid, but the AI is capitalized, where it's like an AI takes over this family. Awful. I watched Madam Web. Awful. I watched a couple other really bad movies. I mean, Godzilla X Kong is a bad movie, but it's more watchable than those. That's like a 2 out of 5. I mean, it's been pretty consistently, like every month or every other month, we're getting like an abomination to a stinker, and that's not okay. I then look and I'm going to compare the worst of the worst to the best of the best, and like the best of the best this year, I'm then going to compare to other years and last year, the year before. It doesn't really hold a candle to it. I love a select few films I really, really love this year, like truly 3 of them that I love. And a lot of the other ones I've really like, 4, 4.5, but there's a couple 5 out of 5s that I've given this year. And I've watched them all more than once. Those are my top 3 films easily of the year. And that's awesome. I'm glad I love those movies. But even then, if I were to rank my favorites of the decade, I don't know if those 3 are in the top 5, which is like kind of crazy. Kind of crazy now that I sit here and think about it. I'd say 2024 has been a pretty weak year. It was direct result of the strike, if I'm being completely honest. So that's life. That's life. But next year, I think it has all-time potential. All-time potential. JJ in the house. Shout out JJ. Been a long-time supporter with a super chat. Great sports-related question. I love a good sports-related question. Question is, what is your favorite athlete outside of football? Well, I don't watch any sports outside of football. No, I do, but I do, but nowhere near with the level of passion and love that I have for college football. But outside of football, my favorite athlete all time or currently is the question I would ask. And I'm going to go ahead and make that distinction. I'm going to say all time. I would say favorite athlete. I mean, I've always just loved football. Who's my favorite non-football athlete? I could go a lot of different routes with this. There was a time in my life where I loved baseball a long time ago. Like that scene in A New Hope. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I'm not going to say anyone from that sport, though. I would probably say it's a really tough one. Ooh. How about Caitlin Clark? Shout out Caitlin Clark. I mean, yes, Caitlin Clark's awesome. Is she my favorite athlete outside of football? I don't know. She's awesome. I don't really care, to be honest with you. And now I think about it, I realize how little I care about sports outside of college football and how freeing that is. Because there was a point in my life where I tried to follow a lot more sports. It's so freeing to just put all my energy and focus on one. Outside of football, it's really putting me in a cage. I mean, like there's some basic answers, like truly in high school for me to age myself. 2014 to 2018, I would say, the Cavs Warriors were the finals every single year. And I was always pulling for LeBron. I know LeBron's a hot topic. I literally don't care about LeBron anymore. I don't. But there was a point in life where I was like, oh, I want LeBron to be the GOAT. LeBron. I was all about LeBron. So I'd say at a point in my life, probably LeBron. No, I know he's very divisive. Now I could not care less about LeBron. Who else? I mean, there's golf. I got to think Olympics. Michael Phelps was big back in the day. You got what? Boxing. I'm going to say Rocky Balboa, fictional character. There you go. I got to cheat the system sometimes. You guys know me. All right, let's see. DCEU at least had it had some watchable projects, some really good projects, but this Sony universe has just been consistently stinkers. And I honestly have zero expectations for Craven. Jack Kennedy in the house. Shout out, Jack. Hope all's well with you, man. Thanks for stopping in. Currently studying for exam. Well, I salute you. In my Lord of the Rings University course. Wow. Hell yeah. Is that like about the books, the Tolkien books, or is it about the actual movies? If it's about the movies, I'm sure it's probably based in literature, but if it's about the movies, that would be so awesome. Looking forward to check out War of the Rohirrim. Yeah, well, I hope you enjoy as much as you can. You know, I've seen pretty much across the board the consensus is that it's an all right at best movie, but I hope you enjoy it. It's still nice to be back in Middle Earth, and there are some things in there that they kind of sprinkle in to maybe tease potential setup for later, because the film is a prequel. It's 200 years before, I believe, Bilbo finds the ring, or the ring. You know, I think that's in the first Hobbit that he acquires that. I believe. I haven't seen the Hobbit movies in a minute, but I hope you know. Good luck on the exam, man. Good luck on that exam. Favorite Jordan Peele film is Comfortably Get Out. Comfortably Get Out. And it sucks because he's probably never going to make a movie that good again. And so he's in a dilemma. Not really. He's set for life. I mean, he's going to continue making movies, but you think about it, and Get Out's probably the best he's got. And if not, I hope he proves me wrong. I mean, I hope he does. You know, I hope that he makes a movie better than Get Out one day. But it's just hard to come out with like a movie that people kind of just know is like an instant classic pretty much when it drops. It's very Shyamalan with Sixth Sense. It's very, I can't think of someone else right off the top of my head, but those two get compared a lot. Could they have similar career trajectories? I don't know. Us was a step down and Nope was a step down. So I think he's made worse movies as he's gotten along. Now, I still really like Us, but he's made a worse movie to me each time. So I think he has a new one coming out next year. We'll see if that one's any good. Your top 25 favorite movies was one of your best videos. Well, thank you. I had a lot of fun with that. I'm glad I did it. I was contemplating, like, should I even make this video? And then I made it, and I was like, screw it. I need to stop running from this video and chase it. All right. Like, I went McConaughey with it. I had put that video off for so long because I'm like, I don't want to be tied down to a list. Well, that video doesn't tie me down to anything. I could change my opinion today. I just had to put them in an order. I mean, I have favorite films that aren't on that list. Movies that I have not even seen, that haven't come out yet, that don't exist yet, that will make my favorite list one day. And so it's like, this is not some binding contract for the rest of your life. It's just a video. And once I had that mindset, I was able to finally get over the hump and do it. Delicious water, by the way. Are you pumped for Squid Game 2? I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm kind of like skeptical more than anything. I think that Squid Game really should have just been a one-off. I don't care for the fact that they set up a sequel season at the very end. I also was pretty disappointed by the final 10 to 15 minutes of Squid Game with the big reveal of who was sort of pulling the strings the whole time. I don't know. I'm very iffy on it. I know it comes out in like 16 days, which is nuts. I'll be watching, I'll be reviewing, but Squid Game, which I think the biggest Mandela effect ever is people thinking it's called Squid Games. It's not. It's called Squid Game. I would say that's the new Berenstein Bears. Like, how do you spell it? That's the new one. It's Squid Game, not Squid Games, which is nuts. People just forget. I'm actually going to make, like, I always second guess myself too, because it seems so like, no, but yeah, Squid Game. It's called Squid Game. And then the game show is called Squid Game, The Challenge, but everyone just calls it Squid Games. And it's like, no, there's no S there. But anyway, big Mandela effect, the modern one, if you will. I don't know. I really think that it should have been a one-off. That's my answer. It should have been a one-off. And so I feel a sneeze brewing. It should have been a one-off. And so I'm kind of going in with that mindset. Prove me wrong. This is like a prove it season. If you're great and you're not a one-trick pony, then hell yeah. But there is a chance that it's just a repetitive season, sort of with way less of an emotional impact. And that's my fear more than anything. That's my fear more than anything, to be honest. A lot of good questions here. I won't be able to get to them all. So if you got one you're burning to ask, super chat it in. It's a way to guarantee I get to it. I see a lot of really good ones in here, though. Let's see. Let's see. We got a super chat. I'm about to get to it real quick. We got 2 super chats. Hold on. Let me find my spot in the chat, and then I will click those because I like to kind of be consistent here. I might have gotten too far down, guys. We're just going to go to the super chats, and we'll get right back to it. So, Bryden, very cool name, by the way, with a super chat saying, worried about Holly joining the crew since she has had no personality up to this point. If she's taken, will we care? No relationship shown between fam. I think you pose an interesting question here, because I would argue we have sort of all along come to know Holly. She's so young throughout the show. There's not much to develop with her. She's younger than our main kids, and this is going to be the first season where she's like an age where she can form her personality. She doesn't even have a personality probably as a human being yet, because she's so young. We see her in season 1 a lot. More than than people remember, I think. She speaks the final line of season 4, which I think they did intentionally, now that you think about it. Mom, look, it's snowing. That's the last line of season 4. And it's Holly Wheeler. And it felt really weird at the time, but now you look back, it's like, oh, wait, they might have cooked. That might have been setting something up. We didn't even know at the time, those masterminds. I'm not worried about Holly joining the crew. She's definitely younger. I think that there's room for like a Holly-Mike sibling dynamic where Mike's like picking on her a bunch, like little sister, you kind of pick on her, or younger sibling, like that vibe. I think it's going to be exciting to have a new character in the group, and I'm ready for it, honestly. So I would say this is the opportunity for her to sort of blossom into her own character, because she hasn't had the chance to yet. She's been so young, and never really had any lines. So I think this is the moment where, and I think we will care, to your point. I think we will care because we'll see, well, first of all, she's a Wheeler. How's that going to hit Nancy? How's that going to hit Mike? How's it going to hit Karen? We know those characters. And so we're seeing their reaction to a family member getting taken, potentially, if it is Holly, which I think it will be. And so we're going to see their reaction. And so we're inherently going to care, because we care about Mike, we care about Nancy, But what if they do a great job of Nell Fisher comes in and crushes at Ep 1, and then at the end, or, in Ep 2, she gets taken, for example. At that point, we would care. It won't take much. It won't take much to set her up as a likable character to, feel for, especially because we already know her familial relationships. So I think it's going to work out fine if it is, in fact, Holly. JJ with the super sticker. I appreciate that. You got any questions to fire off with it? Let me know. Let's see. All right. There's a couple questions in here that I wanted to answer, but I gotta find my damn space in the chat. I always miss, and again, I feel bad. There's no way I'm gonna get to everything, and there's just so many questions I can't even. So apologies, but I try my best. I appreciate that. Thank you. I have not seen the Gorge trailer. I don't think I've heard of this. Am I gonna watch Transformers 1? It's not on my radar. Swallowed the wrong way. Got a little cough going in the stream. Hey, Chris, hope all is well. Did you hear that the frontrunner casting rumors for Hagrid? Did I hear the front running? Yeah, I heard that freaking Brett Goldstein, right? He might be Hagrid. I love Ted Lasso, but that doesn't feel right. And every single thing they've announced about that show just seems like a disaster waiting to happen. Like, I think they said Mark Strong might be playing Voldemort, or was it Dumbledore? I don't remember. It's like, what are we doing? I love the Harry Potter films. Who doesn't? But why are we? From the inception of this show, it's been a risk, and I think that it's setting up for failure already. I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't think that show's going to be sought out fully. 8 seasons, or 7 seasons, not happening. Not happening. I think that people will not be happy, and it's going to be a watered down, lesser version of the films. I mean, we all love those movies so much. And I know they're adapting it from the book, and it could be more pure to the book for the book purists. But we've had those movies since 2001, and everyone in the world right now, if you've watched Harry Potter, you've watched those movies. Everyone in the world, I'm going to say it again, every single human being, there's only one way to watch Harry Potter. It's via those films. So everyone has that in their mind when they think of Harry Potter. Now you're going to come in and redo it. Nothing they do will reach the heights of that movie series, automatically setting up for failure. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's going to fail. It's going to fail. That's my thoughts on that show, by the way. Let's see. I never watched Invincible season 2, to be honest with you. So I can't say I'm excited for season 3. Just never watched it. Never did. Favorite celebrity you met? I think I answered that one last stream. Saw that one a couple times in the chat here. It's a tough one for me to answer. I skip ones that are really tough. Am I excited for Superman? I am excited for a trailer potentially soon. I know everyone was saying trailer December. That was never confirmed. I mean, people just make stuff up on Twitter. But I would love if we got a trailer, but I don't think we will. Have you seen Breaking Bad? Of course I've seen Breaking Bad. It's one of the all-time great TV shows. I think about Breaking Bad a lot. I don't watch it as much as I should, but I think about it a lot. I got asked this one by a couple different folks in the chat here. A lot of Breaking Bad fans I see. Keep Watch Burn from Jake. Revenge of the Sith, Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar. I'm going to watch Revenge of the Sith because I feel like it's the most pivotal of those three to see because it is the conclusion of the prequels. It is the best prequel, and it's a movie that I still am very fond of. So it's one I have to see the six original, the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. I have to see it. Between the other two, again, I have to watch The Dark Knight Rises because I have to see how that trilogy ends. So I guess I have to burn Interstellar because it's the one off of the group, but I still am very high on that movie. I haven't seen it in a while. Phenomenal score. It's Nolan, for God's sake. But the other two are conclusions to trilogies, so I have to watch them to see the conclusion of a story. Whereas with Interstellar, I could live without seeing it if I had to. I have to see how The Dark Knight ends. I have to see how the prequels end. It's time for a speed round. Let's do a speed round. Thoughts on the 19 movies? I haven't seen two, which is shocking to many. The first one I saw in theaters and I really dug. I just have to revisit that and watch 2 before 3 comes out next year. The Whiplash soundtrack. It's a banger. I have seen The Creator. The Creator was not really my jam personally, but I love the scene when it uses that song by Radio Silence at the beginning. That was like, I say love. I loved it. Like it's sitting in the theater. I was like, this movie's about to be an all-timer, isn't it? And then it just fell off completely from there. I was really disappointed. It was like they were loading up for the mission, and it was that song, is it like Everything in Its Right Place or whatever? I think that's what it's called. And it was like, doo-doo-doo, and they were like loading up. I was like, oh my God, I like chills thinking about it right now. I might just watch that scene and then be like, okay, that's all I need from that movie ever again. Because it kind of just went, like after that scene, like the first 10 minutes of The Creator, I was like, this is going to be the best movie of the year. And then it just went, like that's like how I feel about that movie as it went on, unfortunately. Favorite Christmas movie this year? So like a new Christmas movie I've watched this year? I don't know if I have one. I mean, I've watched some stinkers, but I will give you my favorite Christmas movie of all time, Home Alone. And the most recent one that I've seen that I love is The Holdovers. Came out last year. Spotify Wrapped reveal. I think I did that on my last stream, right? Or I did it somewhere. I don't know. Do I have to go to my Instagram? Or you could have been on my Instagram and found it because I already have revealed it. Let's see. All right. College football is king. College football is king, and it always will be king. It's the best sport ever. Best sport ever. Love it. Love college football. I see Craven tomorrow. Thoughts on Jeremy Allen White being in the Mando movie? I won't believe it until I see it. Apparently he's playing a Hutt, and I believe the grown-up version of the Hutt from the Clone Wars, the Huttling that they rescue in the Clone Wars movie. That's a joke, right? What are we doing? That's so unserious. I can't believe it until I see it. Can't believe it until I see it. Truly. All right, let's see. Would I rather watch Secret Invasion or Agatha? I mean, Secret Invasion was a total bore. At least I would probably say I'd finish Agatha before I ever went back and rewatched Secret Invasion. I remember when I watched Secret Invasion to completion at the end, I was watching on my phone on my couch, and I was like, I just have to, or I was on my computer at the time, and I was like, I just have to tough this out. I was like, I just got to tough it out. One more episode, because I was behind, and it was torture. Favorite Christmas movie is Home Alone. I'll answer that one. It's the time of year where I'm going to answer this one. Why not? It's Home Alone. It's goated. Robert Eggers. That would be funny. Call back to earlier in the stream for those who are like, what is he talking about? Yeah, PTA. PTA would be something else, guys. PTA. I'm telling you. Sorry I got so behind in the stream, by the way. There were a lot of good super chats, and I kind of just was vibing. So that's my bad. But again, super chat's the way to go to guarantee I get right to your question, comment, or concern. So I was able to get to a bunch of them via super chat right when they were fired in. And if you're here on the replay, I know it's been an hour and 9 minutes somehow already. Wow, time's flying on this one. If you're here on the replay, thank you guys. I know that a lot of you guys are asleep because it's like the middle of the night where you live. But if you're here on the replay, hit the like button. If you're here now, hit the like button. It's free. It's the simplest way to support the stream, support the channel. Just go ahead and hit that like button. We'll still go for a bit longer though here. I'm not gonna lie. We're having a good stream. Questions are coming in steady. We're having a good conversation. Send those super chats and we'll keep going. We're having a fun time. Let's do it. All right. I gotta find my damn spot in the chat. You guys know me. Hold on. Where was I? Do I like Illumination movies? I just clicked somewhere, and I'll as I talk, I'll kind of look around. Okay, I think I'm actually where I need to be. Do I like Illumination movies? Illumination movies are fine enough. I haven't seen enough. I don't think I have seen enough to really even give you a valid answer. The Despicable Me films are all right. The Super Mario Bros. Movies Illumination, right? Not crazy about that one. So, not really. Have I seen the Edgar Wright films? Yeah, I've seen, I think, only 2 in my life. I've not seen the Cornetto trilogy, which shocks a lot of people when I say that. Baby Driver, and then I believe Last Night at Soho. Last Night in Soho, or at Soho. I don't know why I'm blanking on if it's in or at or neither. Anyway, I've seen both. I haven't seen the others. We got to keep watch burn with Agatha Echo Secret Invasion. I'm going to watch Agatha because I have to finish it. So I'm being productive with what I'm watching. I have to finish it. So it'll be a first-time viewing experience for me. I'm going to burn Echo, and I'm going to watch Secret Invasion because I can endure Secret Invasion. I thought it was solid enough from the jump, but it kind of fell off really drastically near the end. Chris C. with a little super chat. Thank you. You got a question? Let me scroll up and look. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, happy early birthday to Bryson. Hope you have a good one. Taylor Swift says, I'm hyped for being back in Secret Wars. Chris Evans. Yeah. I'm kind of on it, honestly. Drake and Josh Go Hollywood is absolutely cinema. Absolutely cinema. I remember watching that movie all the time as a kid. I have seen A Real Pain. I have a review on my Letterboxd, and Kieran Culkin, I'd be fine if he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. I'd be totally fine with that. I'd be game. Hi, Chris. Hope you have a great day. Have you watched School Spirits? I have not. I've heard of it, though, because I do know she's in it, but I've never watched it. Is that a TV show or a Paramount original movie, or neither? Let me know. Who do I think is winning the Natty? Andrew asks. Well, as you guys know, I'm a Georgia fan, and I'm just going to say it with my chest here. I think Georgia's going to win the Natty. I've thought all year they were going to win the Natty, even through the ups and downs. I've never seen in my life as a Georgia fan a team with this much fight in them. I've seen teams that would beat this team by 20. I think the 21 and 22 teams would blow this team out probably. But this team has been resilient, to use the word Kirby always uses, and it's true. I also think they got the favorable side of the bracket. I don't see Notre Dame. I don't see Indiana beating them. The winner of that game will not beat Georgia. Especially because defense wins championships, guys. People forget that. Look at Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron and Jake Coker won rings at Alabama. Do you think they were carrying? No. They ran the damn ball, and they had elite defense. And that's what Georgia's going to do. And Gunnar Stockton's not a scrub either. He's not a scrub. I know he threw a pick, poorly timed, but if you watch back and even in the press conference, Kirby's like, we put him in a bad spot. That's on us more than anyone. They were rushing to get a play out. The signal wasn't clear to him, and he kind of just made a bad choice, which is going to happen. But it's about everyone else rising to an elite level and playing up. And I think that's what's going to happen. So I think Georgia's going to win their quarterfinal. All right. They're going to beat Indiana or Notre Dame. They're then going to draw the winner of either of SMU. Penn State is going to play Boise State. They're going to play one of those 3 teams. And I think the same formula is going to win them that game. That's the semifinal. So they'll be in the national championship. Who are they playing? Well, if it's Texas, they've beat them twice. If it's Clemson, they beat them once. If it's Tennessee, they've already beat them. Ohio State doesn't scare me. They lost to Michigan. And Oregon is the only team I'm truly probably scared of. And even then,
Dan Lanning's from that from that smart coaching tree. And the last time they did it was 49-3. So I really don't. I know I'm a Georgia fan. I know people will use the Carson Beck, the blah blah blah. I don't care. In my bubble, in my life, that's why I'm viewing this playoff run. Until proven wrong, I do not see a game they will lose. If because now it's a one game season. There's no letdown spot, none of that crap. Everyone's gonna be playing their best football, and they're gonna be a healthy team. I don't see a world where they lose a game. If I'm looking at it one game at a time, which I just did, we'll get to the national championship in that's a while away. But if I'm looking at the quarter final, we're beating either team. That's my mind. We're beating either team. We will then deal with who we play next after that. But if I'm looking at the matchup, we will win the quarterfinal. Then we'll go from there. If it's not Georgia, it's Oregon. If it's not one of those two teams, something happened. That's my answer. Something happened out some sort of outside factor stepped in. Chris says, when do you think U season 5 will come out? Great question. Kind of been quiet on that front, haven't we? We haven't really heard. Final season is season 5, and I believe it'll come out. If I had to give you an honest answer, I'm going to say it's going to come out probably spring of 2025. They've been done filming for a while. It's not like a VFX heavy show. I bet you they've been working in that editing room. I think season 4 came out in like February to March. I would say season 5 comes out February, March, or April. And they're going to do probably part 1 March, part 2 April. That's my guess. That's going to be this upcoming year. We'll get news on that in like January or February, but that's my guess. U will come out in the spring of 2025. I'm excited to see how it ends, even though I think season 4 kind of went a bit off the rails, to be honest with you. Let's see. I'm watching Craven Friday at AMC. Well, I hope you enjoy. Hope you have a good time. I've not watched From. She-Hulk was awful. Give me Stranger Things over Cobra Kai. I know that hurts feelings, but I just love me some Stranger Things. Starcourt says it was hilarious watching you suffer through the Acolyte. Yeah, it's over on my Patreon. You guys should go check it out. It was a show I had to endure. That is for sure. Will you watch Complete Unknown? Again, I talked about this earlier in the stream, kind of up in the air on it. I don't even know. I don't know. I haven't seen The Penguin yet. I'm an absolute slacker. I know. It sickens me, truly. I may see Nosferatu, but again, I talked about priority earlier, and this isn't really high priority for me because of my experience with Robert Eggers. It's not fully my jam. Thoughts on Denise saying Return of the Jedi ruined Star Wars? I didn't see the full context of his quote, so I can't really speak to it like fully, but if that's the case, I mean, I disagree strongly. I think Return of the Jedi is a beautiful ending, but yeah, I was gonna, it's fine. It's fine. Everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. I love Return of the Jedi, though. Did I watch the Fallout series? I watched the first 3 episodes, and I was enjoying it. I was doing a commentary here on Patreon, and then life got really hectic at that time for me, and that was the one thing I had to like put on hiatus. So no, I haven't finished it. I want to. I really did dig it, and I was like, damn, I want to see how this ends. And I probably need to do that before year's end, but that's another thing. There's so much stuff to watch. It's kind of makes my brain want to melt and get overwhelmed. Then I go into shutdown mode, and I'm like, I'm just not going to watch anything. I'm going to doom scroll, and that's not good. So I need to watch it. Yeah. 2 weeks till Christmas Eve. Yeah, we're getting there. We're real close to Christmas, which is nuts. Favorite video game of all time? Ooh, of all time, I'm going to say, I'm not going to go the sports route because that's something I always say. I'll give you a good answer here. I would say my favorite video game of all time is probably Arkham, one of the Arkham games. I mean, I don't know. Or the Uncharted games. I can never answer. Favorite Adam Sandler movie, comedy-wise? Happy Gilmore, but I don't watch that one much. I was never a huge Adam Sandler comedy guy. Drama-wise, probably Uncut Gems, to be honest with you. Let's see. Do I think speaking of Happy Gilmore, do I think the sequel will be any good? I think it'll be fine. I think it's going straight to Netflix, so that kind of tells you what you need to know. It'll be fine. I don't expect much from it, to be honest with you. It won't be as good as the first. You can never really make a sequel as good as the first. It's very rare, especially in the comedy field. And look at Anchorman 2. I think Anchorman 2 is inferior. Anytime you make a comedy sequel, it's usually a lesser version. That's kind of where I stand with that. We'll see, though. I have not watched The Diplomat. I'm so glad the Sony spinoff universe is dead. I'm kind of with you. It's beyond due. It's beyond due. Let's see. We'll go for a couple more minutes here. So if you have any questions that I haven't answered that you know, I missed in the chat or whatever it may be, or you haven't asked yet and you want to guarantee I get to it, super chat is the way to go. And again, hit that like button. It helps out a lot, guys. It's free to do. It's a great way to support the stream and the channel. Just boop, hit that like button right now. Do it. Boop, boop. There you go. Someone do it on 3. Ready? Someone do it out there. I won't know, but here we go. 3, 2, 1, boop. Do you like Backstreet Boys? Funny you ask. I was singing along in the car earlier. Every word to a song. It was everybody, and it was hilarious. I laughed the hardest I laughed in a while. I was with Cam and she was in the passenger seat. And she was like, I forget her wording, but it made me cry. I literally busted out laughing. She was like, should I be concerned that you know every word to this song? And it was just like, how do you know every word of the song? It was one of the two. I was singing imperfectly. Like, it made me laugh so hard. Yeah, I do like the Backstreet Boys, and I'm not ashamed of it. I love that song because of This Is the End, where they're singing it at the end of the movie. That's why I know it so well. I watched it my sophomore year of high school, that movie, and I died laughing. That's the hardest I've ever laughed probably watching the movie the first time. It's such a funny one. Oh, what a film. I might actually have to, I want to watch that one now. Am I more excited for You Season 5 or Outer Banks Season 5? Outer Banks Season 5, baby. Even though I kind of think they made some pretty big mistakes at the end of Season 4, it was still, as a body of work, you got to look at the whole body of work, it was still a much better season than Season 3, and it was entertaining as hell. I am more excited to see Outer Banks 5, see how they end it, and I kind of checked out on You at the end of Season 4. Season 3, I think You is a 2-season show tops. Season 1 and 2 were the best, and it's gone down since, to me. And damn near 3 should have been the end with the whole Victoria Pedretti, I believe the actress name is Love, her character Love, right? That was like the end point. Now it's getting ridiculous now. You're introducing another potential love interest, and it's getting a bit too much at this point. So I think they should have stopped while they were ahead. Emma says, hello, Chris. I'm from Spain and I love your videos. Well, thank you. Over in Europe. That's wild. Thank you for watching. I know it's late over there. Do you think we're going to have big streaming spoilers soon? I hope not. I'm avoiding them. I'm avoiding all big spoilers, but I think that the biggest things that could have got out potentially already happened. So I think we're in the clear, maybe, hopefully. I don't know. I hope that they have sets on lock moving forward, though. Is the Hateful Eight a Christmas movie? Maybe like a, what do they call it? A Christmas adjacent movie? Is that the saying where it's like it's Christmas, but it's not? It's like set during Christmas time, but it's not inherently a Christmas movie? That could be the Hateful Eight, I guess. Oh man, Hateful Eight. Frozen Wish Studios. Hello there. Christmas Vacation is better than Home Alone. Wrong, in my opinion. Obviously, you're allowed to have your own, but wrong. I mean, Christmas Vacation, I don't want to get into it now. I know there's a lot of Christmas Vacationers out there. I own the movie on Blu-ray. I blind bought it at one point in time. Christmas Vacation, did not grow up with. I'll give that context. It is a movie that if you didn't grow up with it, in my opinion, you just are like, this is what people love. Like, I've talked to so many people in my life who are like, love Christmas Vacation. But at the same time, I've talked to people who didn't grow up with it. All my age. And they're like, yeah, I just don't get Christmas Vacation hype. It's not funny. I'm like, yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from there. Kind of where I sit with it. It's not a bad movie. A lot of people consider it like a Christmas classic, must watch. It was never that to me. And I again, am not attacking you personally if you like this movie. I know a lot of people do. My mom loves this movie. To me, from where I come from, I always, like, people will talk about Christmas Vacation and like quote around the room, and then like in my head, I'm like, crickets. Like, I'm like, this is just not, it's just not funny to me. I think Chevy Chase is kind of just an asshole too. So that doesn't help. But no, Home Alone is a million times better to me. I mean, just as a movie, straight up as a movie, but also I think Home Alone has better comedy. I think Home Alone is just the classic. It's the quintessential for me. Someone says Polar Express is top 5 Christmas movie. I wouldn't go that far, but I am a Polar Express defender, and I've fully embraced that role lately. I am aware that it's very disturbing if you watch it through a certain lens, though. It's like, whoa, the animation here, creepy. There's a dude on top of a train making a cup of joe with a sock. Creepy. There's some weird stuff in that movie. Let's see. I have not watched Sabrina's Christmas special yet. A Stranger Things actor plays Santa. I had no clue. I'll have to watch this though. I know that Cam loves Sabrina Carpenter, and she had mentioned watching it. I don't know if she has watched it or not yet, but I would watch that with her if I were to watch it. Don't say Georgie, you Homer. You already know. You already know. I be a dog till I die. If not Georgia, who is my thing really. I firmly believe the dogs get it done. It is almost Christmas. We're almost there, which is nuts. I have not played Marvel Rivals. Denis can say that since Dune Trilogy will be better than OG Star Wars Trilogy. Get out of here. It's already not. Have you seen How to Train Your Dragon? Yes, I have. Loved it. Watched it for the first time like way early in this year. I've never been to Missouri. I haven't. Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell. Give me Will Ferrell. Give me Willie F. Guardians 1 or Guardians 3. I think if we're going rewatchability, I'm taking Guardians 1. If we're going better movie, Guardians 3. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me know. Oh my God, we're back again. You guys already know. And do you think you'll ever watch anime? I don't know. It's kind of a hard sell for me. I watched War of the Rohirrim, the anime film, and it was, I will admit the animation was beautiful. That wasn't an issue, but it wasn't a great, what's the word? It wasn't like a great experience if I'm looking at anime storytelling. I would hope, I've heard great things, but I just don't know. I don't know. It's, again, if we're looking at like my priority on my watch list and all that stuff, it's never been high. What will Moana 2 end at globally? Probably like 1.2 bill, which blows my mind. Keep Watch Burn, Mufasa, Rise of Skywalker, Age of Extinction. I haven't seen Mufasa. If we're referring to, I'll take the 2019 Lion King. Is that what we're referring to here? I'll go with that. I'll just, because that would make the most sense here. I would burn that. Honestly, actually, God, I would burn the Age of Extinction movie. I never want to watch any Transformers like that ever again. Transformers is trash to me. Like, those specific movies are garbage. The trilogy with Shia, I watched those growing up, and I have fond enough memories of them. I think they're probably all bad movies if I went back and watched them, but they're watchable, and I enjoyed them. And I actually have memories with them. 4 was trash. I saw it in theaters, and I was like dreading it. It was a hot July day. I never wanted to experience that again. So I'd burning that. I'd watch Skywalker because I would want to see how the sequel trilogy ends, and then I would, I guess I would keep Rise of Skywalker, funnily enough, and then I would watch The Lion King just because, like, I know I've seen The Lion King story, so I can sit through that lifeless version of it one more time in my life if I had to. We need to get Chris into anime. Campaign starts now. Polar Express is the greatest Christmas movie in my book. Hank's closing speech at the end gets me every time. I love to see some respect on this film, and Jack, every time you're in chat, I'm like, my respect for this man, it just grows and grows and grows. What a guy! But I agree. Polar Express rules. I wouldn't say it's the greatest to me, but it is like it's a contender for top 10. I wouldn't have it in my personal top 5. I would say my top 5 in no order would be the first 2 Home Alones. I'd throw Elf in that conversation. It's a Wonderful Life has to be in that conversation, and then I'd probably go like the Santa Claus, right? But that movie, it's in the 6 to 10 range comfortably for me, and I will own it. There was a period in my life where I was like kind of ashamed. I was like, oh yeah, I like that movie. Sorry guys, I know it's popular to make fun of it. I'm past that. I've matured to the point where I embrace my love for that movie. I do. I was standing with a cup of hot chocolate, a mug just in front of the TV, like I'm a dad who walks in, when their son's watching a movie and is just like doing the dad pose. I was like watching it on the TV for like, was it 2 nights ago I watched it? I was just like enthralled. I was like, yeah, this is sick. Like when they have, is it Glacier Gulch or whatever it's called? And they're like going down and then caribou. And I quote that movie and I don't even realize it. I'm like, yeah, I love this movie. Who wins in a fight? MCU Thor or 11 from Stranger Things? I mean, like, well, I mean, one of them is a god, so I think by default I'd probably have to take Thor on that one. MCU Thor, even, yeah, I probably would take. I mean, it depends on what season 11 we're talking about, I guess. It's kind of the whole Darth Vader versus Iron Man, or like Darth Vader versus Superman or whatever. Like, if she can get like him in a position where he can't move, he's immobilized, she could probably take the dub. But It depends. Are we fighting to the death here? I mean, I don't know. Who's to say? Most iconic Christmas movie quote. Ooh, I mean, to me, always growing up, it was from the first Home Alone. The second Home Alone is when, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but the second Home Alone is when he watches Angels with Even Filthier Souls on VHS, and that's the film after the shootout where he's like, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and a Happy New Year. And then in the first one, he says, keep the change, you filthy animal. I'd say that. Keep the change, you filthy animal. I remember I was in the Burger King drive-thru at 5-year-old. I was in the back seat with like my brother, I think. And I did not say this loud enough for the person working to hear, obviously. But I always thought it was the funniest thing. I would like whisper in the back seat, the window's up so no one can hear me. But like anywhere we'd be somewhere and they'd be like, here's your change. I'd be like, keep the change, filthy animal. I would always quote that scene at school. I'd be like, I'm going to give you 10 seconds before I pump your guts full of lead. That whole exchange, I'd say, is number one for me. Keep Watch Burn, Indiana Jones, Return of the Jedi, Stranger Things. So my assumption, actually, you didn't specify Raiders. I know you meant Raiders, but I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to say Dial of Destiny. So I'm burning Dial. I'm watching Return. I'm keeping Stranger Things. I just cheated the system. Revenge of the Sith has the best CGI in any Star Wars film. I disagree. I actually think that the sequel trilogy probably has the best CGI because it's the most modern and it had such a massive budget. Those movies look great, look wonderful. They just stink. Like the movies are horribly written, you know? Yeah, I mean, Polar Express was like sneaky quotable. We need more altitude, or they need more altitude. Oh man, what a cool movie. And then you've got the nerdy kid. God, what an annoying little guy. Quantumania or the Marvels? Right now, Chris, watch one of these two movies right now. I think I'm taking the Marvels, and it's because of how irrelevant Quantumania will be in the big picture with them not going the Kang route anymore. Like, what's the point of ever watching that movie? Biggest Oscar snub of all time, I'll say of all time, but I'm kind of going to limit that to actually, screw it. Saving Private Ryan should have won Best Picture over Shakespeare in Love, and that's got to be up there, right? That's got to be up there. I'd also say Social Network not winning instead of The King's Speech. I'm a cotton-headed ninny muggins. That's a great son of a nutcracker. Those are great ones from Elf. Who wins Mike v. Hopper? Hopper with ease. It's your grandma, Mike. That blooper when he keeps saying it, it's your grandma, and he laughs when they're in the great blooper from season 3. And then 2025 is going to be huge, probably even 2026. Yeah, I mean, the rest of this decade, like we're only going up from here. 2024 was a fine year for movies, but we're only going up from here. I'll probably end the stream there, though, honestly, unless there's like one last second super chat or question. But that was a fun one, guys. That was a fun one. Went for an hour 32. Got a lot of questions in. Got a bunch of super chats in. Gavin says Gyllenhaal should have been nominated. 100% should have been nominated. I agree. And then if you want to talk prisoners, I mean, I agree. Jackman should have been nominated, and I think Gyllenhaal as well. Neither were nominated, I want to say, which is a crime. But no, that was a fun stream, little hour and a half. If you guys like this stream, I do streams just like this over on my Patreon. I've revamped them a lot recently. I also have a Hawkins report. I know there's a lot of Stranger Things questions. I do streams like this where I'm starting to get into just Stranger Things theories, news, rumors, all that over on my Patreon. I've got exclusive videos, lots of content planned over there. So consider becoming a patron. It's a great way to go the extra mile at support. It's $5 a month. It's a huge way to help support the channel. You get extra content, not only the stuff I'm going to post, but my access to my whole library. I did commentary tracks for every episode of Stranger Things where you guys sync up and watch with me. It's a lot of fun over there, so consider joining that if you haven't. But that was a great stream, guys. Thank you so much. If you send a super chat, if you hit that like button, any of that stuff, it really does mean the world, and I appreciate you being here. But really was a fun time. Apologies that I started a little late, and if there were any Wi-Fi issues, but I'm seeing Craven, so I got some Sony Spider-Man villain spin-off content coming. It's going to be enthralling stuff. And I should have a video tomorrow, maybe, solely dedicated to the Chris Evans news. I have some thoughts. But lots to look forward to, especially as we approach the end of the year. The end of the year ranking videos, those are always a fun time. But no, that was a great stream. Thank you guys, as always. And until next time, see you guys later.